Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Steve Grapp, and today we're diving deep into a troubling trend in Arkansas politics: the actions of our Attorney General, Tim Griffin. Buckle up, folks, because this isn't a pretty picture. Let's start with a simple question. What's the role of an Attorney General anyway? In theory, it's to be the people's lawyer, to protect the interests of the citizens, and to uphold the law. But under Tim Griffin's leadership, the AG's office has become something else entirely: a weapon against democracy and a personal stepping stone for political ambition. First, let's talk money. While many state agencies and everyday families are struggling with flat budgets, Griffin has managed to pad his office quite nicely. House Bill 1037, passed earlier this year, added 26 new positions to the AG's office. But that's not all. According to reports that just came out, Griffin has overseen salary increases for top positions ranging from 9% to a whopping 46%. Let that sink in. In a state where many are struggling to make ends meet, Griffin's top deputies are seeing their paychecks balloon. The most egregious increase saw a member of Griffin's office with a salary jump from $125,986 to $184,000. That is an outrageous increase. Now, I'm all for fair compensation, but this feels less like appropriate raises and more like empire building. And it's happening while other vital state services are left to make do with what they have, like our schools. But the real kicker? These inflated salaries aren't translating into better service for Arkansans. Instead, Griffin seems more interested in using his expanded office to undermine the very democratic processes he's sworn to protect. Let's talk about the abortion petition case. This is where Griffin's true colors really shine through. When citizens gathered over 100,000 signatures to put abortion rights on the ballot, Griffin didn't see it as democracy in action. No, he saw it as a threat to be eliminated by any means necessary. His office has thrown every legal roadblock imaginable at this petition. They've invented new rules on the fly, applied existing rules inconsistently, and generally done everything in their power to keep this issue off the ballot. And when called out on it, Griffin released a video that can only be described as desperate and unconvincing. It was a rambling 20-minute attempt to justify his actions that left most viewers more confused than convinced. But here's the thing. This isn't just about abortion. This is about the fundamental right of citizens to bring issues to a vote. Griffin has shown he's willing to twist the law into pretzels to prevent Arkansans from having their say at the ballot box. That's not protecting democracy. That's strangling it. And it doesn't stop there. Griffin has taken a page out of his predecessor, Leslie Rutledge's playbook, using the AG's office to grandstand on national issues rather than focus on the needs of Arkansans. It's all about building his profile for a future run at the governor's mansion. The people of Arkansas, they're just stepping stones on his path to power. Now let's talk about Griffin's most recent stunt, this video that essentially threatens petition gatherers. In this charming piece of cinema, Griffin all but says that collecting signatures could land you in legal trouble. The message is clear. Participate in direct democracy at your own risk. This is nothing short of intimidation, folks. It's an attempt to create a chilling effect on citizen participation. Griffin is trying to scare people away from engaging in the most fundamental act of democracy, having their voices heard. It's a tactic straight out of an authoritarian playbook, and it has no place here in Arkansas. But perhaps the most disturbing aspect of Griffin's tenure is how he's positioning himself as Governor Sanders' loyal attack dog. The Attorney General's office is supposed to be independent, a check on executive power. Instead, Griffin has aligned himself so closely with the governor's agenda that it's hard to tell where his office ends and hers begins. This goes beyond political alignment. Griffin is actively using the power of the office to advance Sanders' agenda, often at the expense of the very people he's supposed to serve. Whether it's education policy, healthcare, or voting rights, Griffin seems more interested in pleasing the governor than representing the interests of everyday Arkansans. Let's take a moment to consider the broader implications of all of this. We're witnessing a concerted effort to concentrate power in the hands of a few while systematically dismantling the tools of direct democracy. The expanded AG's office isn't being used to better serve the people, it's being used to control them. The inflated salaries aren't attracting better talent, they're rewarding loyalty. And the attacks on citizens' initiatives aren't protecting the integrity of the process, they're stifling the voice of the people. This is a dangerous path. My friends, when those in power work this hard to prevent citizens from having a say, it's a clear sign that they fear the will of the people. They know if given a fair chance, Arkansans might make choices that don't align with their political agenda. So instead of persuading us, they're trying to silence us. But here's the thing. We don't have to let them. Arkansas has a proud tradition of citizen engagement. Our state motto, Regnat Populus, means let the people rule. It's time we lived up to that ideal. So what can we do? First and foremost, stay informed. Don't let Griffin's intimidation tactics scare you away from participating in the democratic process. If you see petition gatherers, don't be afraid to hear them out. Exercise your right to have a say in how our state is run. Second, hold Griffin accountable. When he misuses his office or tries to block citizens' initiatives, call him out. Write letters, make phone calls, use social media. Let him know that we're watching and we won't stand for these attacks on our democracy. Third, support organizations that are fighting for transparency and accountability in our government. There are more great groups in Arkansas that I can shake a stick at doing this work, and they need our help now more than ever. And finally, vote. When election time comes around, remember these actions. Remember how Griffin and his allies tried to silence your voice, and your vote to send a clear message that in Arkansas, the people still rule. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with a thought. The fight for democracy isn't something that happens once and is done. It's an ongoing process, one that requires constant vigilance and active participation. Tim Griffin and his allies are betting that we'll get tired, that we'll give up, that we'll let them have their way. Let's prove them wrong. Before we go, I want to remind you all about upcoming community conversation meetups. We'll be gathering tonight at Feastro's in Sherwood and on Friday at Pasta J's in Benton. These meetups are a great opportunity to continue the conversations in person, share ideas, and build connections with other engaged citizens. And here's a call to action for all of you listeners out there. Why not start a community conversation meetup in your own community? We're here to help you get set up and publicized. These local gatherings are where real change begins. They're where we can strategize, support each other, and keep the spirit of democracy alive in every corner of Arkansas. Remember, democracy thrives when we come together. So whether you're joining us in Sherwood or Benton, or starting your own meetup, you're playing a crucial role in shaping the future of our state. This has been Community Conversations. I'm Steve Grapp reminding you that democracy is not a spectator sport. Get in the game, Arkansas. The future of our state depends on it. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, regnant populace, y'all, let the people rule. Let's make sure it stays that way.